We're very excited to have Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw here on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum at Davos. It's been a very hectic week for him, chock-a-block with meetings with everyone from global investors to companies. Thank you very much, sir, for talking to us on Moneycontrol. I want to begin by asking you about the sense that you're getting from global investors, companies, because whoever we've been speaking to, they've underlined how India is a bright spot. In fact, we were talking to the OECD Secretary General this morning, and he said India will be the fastest growing economy among the G20 nations. If you can give us a sense of the mood that you've picked up while you're here, while you're talking about India to investors and companies.
So far, I've met with investors of practically every large fund, more than about 50 such very senior leaders in the financial services and investment world, including Mr. Ray Dalio. What's striking is they all understand today the policy framework that our Prime Minister has very clearly laid out and very smartly executed. People understand the impact of investment in infrastructure, how it is going to improve productivity. People fully appreciate the focus on manufacturing, and everybody has noted the inclusive growth, which our Prime Minister has always emphasized. People at the bottom of the pyramid, their lives are improving, and that is giving a sustainable growth. People have also noticed the simplification, the removal of so many compliances. Net, the belief here among the investment community basis the 50-odd discussions that I've had so far is India is going to grow consistently at a 6 to 8% growth rate over next many years, definitely for a decade. That is the foundation, strong foundation which has been laid. People have also noticed the steps taken for making sure that the bank balance sheets are healthy, the country's balance sheet is healthy. Many of the mistakes which, in a sense, many other countries have done by putting too much debt on the balance sheets, that mistake India has not done. This has also been noticed by very senior people.
Right. One key discussion that you've been part of is India's chip strategy. And this is coming at a time when we are seeing this whole geopolitics around chips, US versus China, the restrictions that are coming in. Where does India stand here? And the second part of my question here, sir, is there is always this argument. Should we go for chip manufacturing or chip design? Because chip design has more bang for the buck. It's seen as a high value activity. If you can give us your own perspective of India's chip strategy, juxtaposing it with what other world economies are doing.
Absolutely. And we had a very interesting panel yesterday where the senior semiconductor leaders were present. And today we just finished a roundtable on semiconductor. The net message out of this entire series of conversations is the policy framework that our Prime Minister has announced in January 22. That's absolutely the right policy framework. The execution so far has been highly appreciated. People have noted the fact that Micron plant construction started within 90 days. On the first question that you asked, yes, we have a very strong design capability, and that design capability has today matured from being a back office to designing entire product, designing complete product, to further maturing to conceptualizing a customer's need and then converting that into a design. This strength we must further strengthen. This strength we must keep our focus on. The natural corollary of this strength is to have chip manufacturing. For example, Mr. Chris Miller gave this example today in the roundtable that Taiwan, when they started their chip manufacturing, they didn't have the design capability. South Korea, still they are working on increasing their design capability. So it's no longer a question of design or manufacturing. It's a question of design and manufacturing. So I think this is what the message we got from all the senior leaders who expressed their satisfaction And I think this is the right policy framework that we are right now operating in.
Right. Since we're talking about chips, I have to ask you about the government's $10 billion chip subsidy plan. So far, 13 to 14% of that has been approved for Micron. Can we expect more chip subsidy approvals? Because, there is also the issue of the electoral code of conduct kicking in. So anything that we can expect before that?
Listen, our Prime Minister has very clearly said that semiconductor industry is a 20-year journey. It's a long haul. We must continuously, assiduously, meticulously, methodically keep working step by step. So that's why his focus has always been on developing the entire ecosystem. So today we had participants, leaders of gas companies, chemical companies. They also felt very comfortable with the progress that has been made. In fact, one of the persons commented that we could never imagine the meticulous execution which has happened, and that gives them huge confidence in our country. So we need to keep working on this path. First, success is very good. We must build upon this. And we should also now look at developing certain products so that our own demand can grow. People also noted that now we have started manufacturing laptops and servers that will further feed the demand. So the journey which many other countries took, and they followed it up for 30 years, I feel confident that we will be able to compress those 30 years in 10 years.
Okay. The mobile electronics industry, sir, is asking for a change in the import control regime for components. They're saying this will help, in turn, increase production and exports. What is the government's stance on this issue?
Yes, they have met us and shared their demand and also shared their logic behind this. And I think this is part of the consultation process that goes before a budget. Let that consultation process be completed, and that's something which the Finance Ministry, we have also shared our views. Let that come out in the budget.
Right. Can you also give us an update, sir, on the government's plans to procure GPUs for AI startups?
Yes. You must have noticed that in all the schemes, all the digital public infrastructure, Prime Minister's policy, vision, execution has been democratize technology. So that technology is accessible to every person who would like to use. In case of B2C, can the poorest of the poor person access technology? In case of B2B, can the small startups and MSMEs access technology? That's the philosophy. And in that, as a corollary, as a natural execution of that philosophy, we are creating a AI mission in which the government will be investing in developing the compute power, making sure that compute power is available, accessible to the startups, to MSMEs. We will be working in a very methodical way, the way the payment system has evolved. Similar structure we'll try to create for AI.
Right. I also wanted to understand from you, sir, I was listening to a discussion yesterday where IBM's global CEO Arvind Krishna said that India will be at the forefront of AI deployment, and also had great things to say about our DPIs. Taking DPIs to the world has also been something that the government's been talking about. NPCI is already trying to do that with UPI. So did that also come up in your discussions on what other countries can learn from the India example in building digital public rails? In fact, today we did a story on how 25 million tickets in Bangalore Metro is, being accessed just by the QR code. So that's the way technology is being scaled up for public services.
That's very true. And during the last G7 meeting in Japan, we had signed a memorandum of understanding between Japan and India for implementing the digital stack and especially the payment system in Japan. So yesterday, Japan's digital transformation minister met, and he shared the progress which has been made so far. Two of the largest banks in the world, they have decided to go forward on that, and the Japanese Monetary Authority, as well as there are many European countries who are looking at this structure as the solution for their countries, and also for cross-border payments. So this is a very big win for India's DPI and the democratization of technology that our Prime Minister has always envisaged.
So, sir, will these regulations come from the existing framework currently, the deepfake?
See, the elections are just around the corner. At this point of time, we are working with the existing regulatory framework. But our conversations with practically from all sections of the society and leaders from all across the world, everybody is concerned about the threat to democracy that deepfakes and disinformation actually puts on the democracy. It's a very big impact. Yesterday I was discussing with the digital transfer, the communications minister from Singapore, and with the digital minister from Japan. It's a serious problem. We really need to now move to a framework in which the social media platforms, they start taking responsibility for what they are publishing. The context of social media has changed. When the safe harbor was enacted way back in 1990s, that was the time when internet was evolving. It had come up as a tool which was used by a very limited number of people. Today, internet and its manifestation in the form of social media platforms is very, very widespread. Practically every citizen is today is using social media platforms. And in that sense, the context which was there in 1990s no longer exists. The platforms are also not pure platforms anymore, because they are using their moderation policies, they are using their content moderation policies. So they are not platforms in that strict sense. So time has come when the entire global community takes a real look at the entire construct which has been in existence for a few years.
Right. So since you mentioned elections, just want to sneak in a question. You know, you delivered a big win for the BJP as the MP in charge. Can we expect you to play a more active role as the Lok Sabha elections approaches? Can we even expect you to perhaps contest this time?
I'm a disciplined worker of the party, and whatever the party asks me to do, we do. It's an honor that the party is always giving responsibilities. And Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh win was a big vote of confidence in Prime Minister's vision, in the plans that he has made, and the change, the transformative change he has brought in people's lives. I visited many villages, village after village. You meet the women in the village, meet the poor families in the village. They never imagined that they would ever get a gas connection, a tap water connection, the healthcare services, electricity, stable electricity, sanitation, the support which they got during the COVID period, and that support is now extended for next 5 years in terms of ration. All these things are highly appreciated by the people, and there is very strong trust in Prime Minister's ability to steer this nation to a totally new level.
Understood, sir. Final question, sir. Based on the interest that you're seeing, how big can India's semiconductor industry eventually be in terms of size, in terms of scale, in terms of investments? What can our ambition be?
In coming 5 years, India will become a major semiconductor destination, for sure. The way the world is developing trust in India, that trust is majorly because of the way our foreign policy has been conducted by our Prime Minister. The way he has developed that trust by meeting people, by honoring commitments, by intervening in exactly the right way. All these things today, when you meet the global leaders, they tell that we really, really trust Prime Minister Modi's leadership. Many of them actually said that we are very happy that he will be coming back. So that is the kind of trust which people have very clearly endorsed, and that trust will translate into India becoming a major semiconductor destination.
Great. On that note, thank you very much, sir, for talking to us.